Before you move on with your day, pause. This moment is not an accident. You didn't find this video by chance. It found you because heaven has something to say. Not in thunder, but in stillness. Not to the crowd, but to you. This isn't a message for everyone. This is a love letter from God to the deepest part of your soul. So breathe, be still, and listen. Because what you're about to hear could awaken something eternal in you.
Before the sun stretched its light across the sky today, I was already watching over you. I waited, not because I needed anything from you, but because I longed to walk with you. You felt something stir within your heart, a quiet ache, a silent hope, maybe even a question you didn't dare voice. And I heard it. I always hear it. You may have come here looking for a sign, something to break the silence, to shatter the uncertainty. This is that sign. These are not random words scrolling across your screen. I am speaking to you, not to the world in general, to you, because I know exactly where you are, what you're facing, and how tired your soul has become from trying to pretend you're okay when you're not. You don't need to fake strength with me. I never asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be present. I never demanded that you figure everything out. I asked you to trust me. And today, I'm drawing near to you with a whisper wrapped in thunder, a voice wrapped in stillness. You've been strong for so long, haven't you? Carrying others, holding your breath through your storms, pushing through with a brave face while wondering if anyone sees the tears you cry in secret. But I do. I've seen them all, and I collect every one of them, not as reminders of your pain, but as proof that your heart is still alive, still tender, still able to love even after everything. You wonder sometimes if your prayers are being heard, or if you're just speaking into the wind. But I want you to know, every word you've ever spoken to me in the quiet of your room, in the rush of your commute, in the middle of your desperation, I heard them all, and not one was wasted. Not one went unanswered. Some answers come in silence because silence teaches trust. Some come in fire because fire purifies what you're not meant to carry into the future. And some, the most precious ones, come in unexpected ways, like peace when you should be falling apart, or joy that sneaks in while nothing around you has changed. You're not lost, my child. Even if you've wandered, even if you've made choices that led you far from where you thought you'd be by now, I still know the way back, and I am still the shepherd who comes looking. You don't have to prove yourself to earn my love. You already have it. You don't have to reach some spiritual milestone for me to begin working in your life. I've been working all along, in the background, in the shadows, behind every door that closed, behind every no you didn't understand. I was never withholding good from you. I was preparing better. But listen carefully. This is not just about comfort. I didn't come only to soothe you. I came to awaken you. You were made for more than surviving. You were made to thrive in faith, to walk in joy, to move with purpose and light in a world that feels dark and heavy. There is a call on your life that hasn't been canceled by your pain, by your mistakes, or by your delays. I placed it in you before your first breath. And nothing, not the voices that shamed you, not the betrayals you've endured, not the battles you thought you lost, nothing has revoked that calling. I've seen the moments when you've doubted yourself, when you've looked in the mirror and barely recognized the reflection, when you've questioned if anything about your life truly matters. And I'm here to answer that with a resounding yes. You matter, not because of what you do, but because of who you are, my beloved, my creation, my image bearer. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Heaven leans in when you speak. Angels stand guard when you sleep. My spirit is closer than your breath, and I have not brought you this far just to leave you now. Lift your head, not because your situation has changed yet, but because your perspective is about to. When you begin to see through my eyes, you will realize you are not as far behind as you think. I've been aligning things not just around you, but within you. Your character has been forming in the quiet. Your strength has been forged in the fire. You have endured much, but what you carry now is not just the weight of trials. It's the weight of glory. You're carrying stories that will encourage others, carrying lessons that will free others, carrying grace that will rebuild lives. I am not distant. I am not silent. I am not angry with you. I am not disappointed in you. Those lies come from voices that want to keep you in guilt and shame, voices that tremble when you rise in faith. Let today be the day you stop agreeing with those voices. Let today be the moment you choose to believe me instead. You don't need the approval of people who never understood you. You don't need to keep rehearsing your regrets. The future is not in the past. The past was part of the journey. But today, right now, we walk forward together. You have no idea how many miracles are lining up on the horizon for you. But I see them. I see the new beginnings waiting to unfold, the relationships I'm healing, the provisions I'm sending, the strength I'm imparting even now as you listen. You feel the shift, don't you? That quiet confidence rising inside your heart. That's not adrenaline. That's my spirit breathing new life into your soul. You are not weak. You are rising. You are not forgotten. You are favored. You are not abandoned. You are deeply, irrevocably loved. Hold on to me. The next chapter is beginning. Do you remember when your heart was full of dreams? When nothing seemed too far, too high, too impossible? That was me, planting seeds of promise deep within you. Not fantasies, not childish illusions, but holy desires that reflect my purpose for your life. And though time may have passed and some dreams feel buried beneath disappointment, I have not forgotten a single one. What I plant, I water. What I start, I finish. And even now, even here, I'm awakening the dreams you've laid to rest, not to torment you, but to remind you that they were never meant to die. You think it's too late, that too much damage has been done, that maybe the best parts of your story were written in another chapter that's now closed. But I don't work within your timelines. I am not bound by what others say is possible. My redemption rewrites what life has broken. My mercy restores what time has stolen. Nothing you've lost is beyond my ability to return in better form. Sometimes I allow a dream to fall, only so you'll learn to hold me tighter than what you thought would fulfill you. And when your hands are finally free, I place something greater in them, something no one can take away. There is a healing happening in your heart, and it might not look dramatic, but it's real. It's in the way you're slowly beginning to hope again. It's in the way you're starting to believe that maybe joy isn't just for other people. You've spent years surviving, building walls, managing pain, but I didn't create you to be numb. I created you to feel deeply, to love fearlessly, to rejoice in the little things without fearing they'll be taken from you. And so, I'm removing those walls one moment at a time. I'm restoring the tenderness in your soul not to make you weak, but to make you strong in the way that truly matters. Strength isn't found in how well you hide your pain. It's in how open you let me be in your wounds. Your scars are not signs of failure. They are proof that you've overcome, that you've fought battles most people will never see, that you didn't give up, even when everything in you wanted to. And I honor that. I stand beside you, not as a distant God with high demands, but as your father, proud of how far you've come, excited for what's ahead, delighted simply to be with you. Yes, even in your lowest days, even in your worst moments, I was never ashamed to call you mine. I know the weight you carry. I know the voices in your head that question your worth, your direction, your progress. But let me silence them now. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not forgotten in the crowd. You are exactly where I knew you would be at this point in your story. And while it may not look like much to you right now, the foundation I've been laying beneath your feet is far deeper than you realize. Because what I'm building in you is not temporary. I'm not in a rush to give you something flashy that fades. I'm shaping something eternal, something holy, something unshakable. You've asked me to move. You've prayed for miracles. You've cried for breakthrough. And I've listened. But what you don't always see is that sometimes the miracle begins inside you before it manifests around you. Before I open the door, I prepare your heart to walk through it. Before I give the answer, I strengthen your spirit to carry it. Because if I only changed your circumstances but not your perspective, the blessing wouldn't last. But if I transform you from the inside out, no matter what comes, you'll remain standing, joyful, and full of peace. So let me keep working, even when it's slow, even when you don't understand it. You don't have to figure everything out to follow me. You don't need all the answers to walk by faith. All I ask is that you take the next step, whatever that looks like today. Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's letting go. Maybe it's simply choosing to believe that I love you more than you can comprehend. That I'm not waiting for you to mess up so I can correct you. I'm walking beside you, guiding you gently, cheering you on, speaking life into your soul when the world around you only speaks fear. And no, the road ahead won't always be easy. I never promised you a life without challenge, but I promised you a life of purpose, a life where even your tears have meaning, a life where nothing is wasted. Not the heartbreak, not the confusion, not the long nights of waiting. I see it all, and I am using it all. The enemy wanted those things to destroy you, but I'm using them to define you, not by your pain but by your perseverance, not by your losses but by your loyalty. You stayed. You didn't run from me, even when you doubted me, and that means more to me than you know. You're stronger than you feel, not because you never fall, but because you rise again. And every time you do, you grow a little more into the person I designed you to be. More compassionate, more resilient, more in tune with my spirit. You don't see what I see when I look at you. You focus on your flaws. I focus on your future. You see failure. I see formation. You see setbacks. I see setup. So today, I'm inviting you again. Trust me. Not just when things go your way, but especially when they don't. That's when trust becomes real. I am with you even now, speaking softly to your soul, rebuilding the places you thought were beyond repair, filling your lungs with breath for the next step. You're not walking alone. You never were. And from this moment forward, you never will. I am your God, and I will complete the good work I began in you. No matter what comes, I'll be there, still loving, still guiding, still calling your name in the quiet. And as long as you walk with me, you will never walk in vain. You've spent so long trying to be strong, haven't you? Holding everything together because you thought falling apart meant failure. But listen to me now, you don't have to carry this alone. You were never meant to. Strength in my kingdom does not look like pretending. It looks like surrender. It looks like falling to your knees and whispering, God, I can't do this without you. And I lean in every time you say it, because I never asked you to be enough by yourself. I only asked you to be mine. I know what you're battling in silence, the heaviness no one sees, the overthinking, the fear, the guilt that creeps in after every mistake. I know the pressure you feel to keep up, to please everyone, to be perfect, even when you're running on empty. But I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for honesty. I want your truth, not your performance. When you talk to me, you don't need polished words. Just your real, raw, unfiltered heart. That's where the healing begins. That's where transformation starts, not in pretending you're fine, but in letting me into the places that aren't. Let me love the version of you that's still hurting, the version of you that's still figuring it out, the one who has days of doubt, who wonders if anything is really changing. Because I see it, the growth you can't measure. The slow mending of a soul that once thought it was shattered beyond repair. You've come further than you realize. You've survived storms that should have sunk you. You've walked through fire and still carry hope. You may not have all the answers, but you're still reaching for me, still listening for my voice. That matters. That is faith. There is no shame in struggle. There is no condemnation in confusion. I don't turn away when you question. I don't withdraw when you wrestle. In fact, some of the deepest intimacy between us begins when you bring me your questions instead of hiding them. I want your whole heart, not just the parts you think are presentable. I want your grief and your frustration, your doubt and your dreams. I want your voice in the middle of the night, not just your polished prayers in the daylight. I want to meet you exactly where you are, because that's where my power is most evident. In the mess, in the mystery, in the middle of everything. This is not the end of your story. And no, it's not too late to begin again. I specialize in fresh starts, in second chances, in raising what others have buried. You may feel worn down, but that doesn't mean you're finished. It means you're being refined. I'm burning away the lies you've believed for too long. Lies that said you're not enough. Lies that whispered you'll always be stuck. Lies that told you joy is for other people. Those voices are being silenced now. Not by force, but by truth. By the sound of my love louder than your fear. By the warmth of my spirit stronger than your shame. Let me show you who you really are. Not who you've tried to be for others. Not who you became to survive. But the real you, the one I formed in the secret place, before a single wound touched your heart. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than the labels they placed on you. You are more than the scars you carry. You are chosen. You are clean. You are deeply, wildly loved. Not just in theory, but in every detail of your existence. I delight in you, and I know that's hard to believe sometimes. But that's why I'm here, repeating it again and again until it sinks deeper than your doubts. I have plans for you. Yes, real ones. And not vague or distant, but personal, intricate, and woven with more beauty than you've dared to imagine. Plans that involve joy returning to your mornings, purpose breathing life back into your days, relationships being restored, and peace replacing anxiety. But the foundation of all of it is this: you with me, not running, not hiding, not striving, just walking together, side by side, your hand in mine. That's where the healing begins. That's where the miracles unfold. So take a breath. Let the weight fall from your shoulders. You are not behind. You are not being punished. You are not forgotten. You are in the middle of a divine process, and I am not finished yet. In fact, I'm just getting started. You've been through a wilderness, yes, but it wasn't to harm you. It was to strip away what couldn't come with you into your future. I'm leading you out now, step by step, toward a land of promise, toward a place where you'll thrive, where your laughter will return, where you'll look back and finally understand why the waiting was worth it. And I know waiting is hard. It tests the deepest parts of your faith. But trust me when I say, I have not wasted a single day of your life, even the days that felt meaningless, even the seasons where everything was silent. I was working, always working, and I still am, in your thoughts, in your relationships, in your calling, in the quiet hours where no one sees. I am preparing you for something bigger than what you're asking for. That's why it's taken time. Not because I'm withholding, but because I'm preparing. I want to give you a blessing that lasts, not a moment that fades. I want your joy to be full, not fragile. I want your faith to be fierce, not flimsy. And I want your heart to be free, not bound by fear of failure, or shame from the past, or chains from people who didn't value you. You are stepping into something new now, and it doesn't depend on how well you perform. It depends on how willing you are to receive my grace, my guidance, my presence. That's what I'm offering you, freely, fully, now. So don't look back, not to the things you've outgrown, not to the pain that tried to define you. Fix your eyes forward, on me, on what's coming, on the life that's still waiting to unfold. You're not finished. You're not forsaken. You are standing at the edge of something sacred. And I am here, with open arms, open hands, and a heart full of mercy, waiting to walk with you into the next chapter of your becoming. There's something shifting inside of you, and you've felt it, haven't you? It's subtle, like a gentle breeze before the storm breaks. It's the soft unrest in your soul that says, there has to be more than this, and there is. Much more. Not just more accomplishments or more money or more validation from the people around you. No, what you're aching for, what your soul is whispering in the quiet, is me. A deeper connection. A life that actually breathes with eternity. That's the stirring you feel. That's the awakening I'm initiating. I'm not just calling you to a better season. I'm calling you to a transformed life. And transformation never happens by accident. It begins with intention. With a decision to step out of the shadows you've gotten used to. With a choice to stop numbing the ache with distraction. I don't want you just a little more spiritual. I want you fully alive, not walking half asleep through your days, but burning with a sense of holy purpose that gets you up in the morning and keeps you steady when the winds howl at night. You see, I didn't create you to merely exist. I didn't form you to be another face in the crowd, hustling to prove your worth. I shaped you with eternal fingerprints and placed a divine spark inside your spirit that the world cannot extinguish. But you've been taught to settle. You've been told that playing small is humble, that shrinking back is safe. And though you've survived by staying quiet, staying hidden, staying agreeable, I'm calling you out now. Not to shame you, not to expose you, but to show you who you really are, the bold, radiant, powerful soul I designed before time began. The enemy has tried to bury that identity under years of pain, rejection, and disappointment. He whispered lies that became inner scripts you started believing. I'm not good enough. I'm too broken. I always mess up. But I'm rewriting the narrative now. And I'm doing it with truth. You are not too broken, you are ready. You are not too far gone, you are exactly on time. You are not disqualified, you are chosen. Not because of what you've done right, but because of what my son has done for you. Let that truth take root. Let it silence the accusations in your mind. I did not call you because you were flawless. I called you because you are mine. And I don't need perfect people. I need willing hearts. Hearts that beat for me even when they're trembling. Hearts that say yes even when they don't have the whole map. I see that in you. I see the flicker of courage that refuses to be put out. I see the hunger for truth even when your faith feels fragile. And I can work with that. In fact, I delight in that. Because that kind of faith, even if it's mustard seed small, moves mountains in my kingdom. So stop waiting until you feel worthy. Worthiness was never the prerequisite. Surrender is. Trust is. A heart open to me is all I've ever needed to begin rewriting stories, rebuilding lives, and resurrecting hope. And I am rewriting yours right now. I am restoring the years that felt stolen. I am redeeming the moments that broke you. I am reviving dreams you laid to rest because they hurt too much to carry. Watch how I breathe life into what you thought was dead. Watch how I turn ashes into beauty and scars into sacred stories that heal others. But for this to truly happen, something in you has to rise. Not your pride, not your strength, but your yes. Your quiet, resolute, soul-deep yes. The one that says, God, I don't have it all together, but I give you what I have. That yes is powerful. That yes shifts things in the spiritual realm. That yes opens doors no man can shut. That yes invites me into the hidden places, not just the ones you've cleaned up, but the ones you keep behind emotional locks, the ones that still sting, still bleed, still question. I can handle it all. I am not afraid of your darkness. My light doesn't run from shadows, it breaks through them. And no, you don't have to understand everything to begin. Understanding comes as you walk. Revelation comes when you obey. So take that step. Start where you are. Pray even when you feel nothing. Worship even when your heart is tired. Read my word even when your mind is distracted. I see the effort. I honor the pursuit. Because love isn't proven in perfect outcomes. It's proven in faithful presence. And every time you show up to meet me, even with your imperfections, you're proving that you love me. And I treasure that more than you know. You may not feel holy, but holiness is not about how loud you sing or how flawless your life looks. Holiness is about your willingness to let me set you apart, to let me clean what's dirty, to let me speak when your voice is shaky. Holiness is staying close to me even when you've messed up. Holiness is choosing to believe that my blood still speaks better things. Better than your shame, better than your past, better than the lies you were told. I make all things new. That includes you. You're not too late to walk in calling. You're not too lost to walk in grace. You're not too damaged to walk in destiny. In fact, everything you've been through has prepared you for this moment. Not to glorify the pain, but to glorify my power in how I brought you through. You're still standing. That means your purpose is still alive. That means your voice still matters. That means your yes still holds weight in heaven. So rise, my child, not in anxiety, not in self-pity, but in identity. Rise in the knowledge that you are loved, covered, called, and surrounded. Rise knowing that no weapon formed against you can prosper when I go before you. Rise in the confidence that my plans for you are not random. They are precise. They are personal. They are perfect. I don't waste a moment. I don't waste a tear. I don't waste a life, and I won't waste yours. The next step may look small, but it will echo in eternity. The choice to trust. The moment you pray even when you feel broken. The decision to forgive when bitterness makes more sense. That's where heaven rushes in. That's where miracles are born. That's where I meet you. Not in the applause, but in the quiet corners of your surrender. So come. Not with answers. Not with confidence. Just come. I've been waiting for you. There's something I want to clear up right now. Something that's quietly eaten away at your soul for too long. You've believed the lie that you are not enough. That no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you change, it still won't be good enough. And this lie didn't just visit you once, it followed you. It followed you into your childhood, into your friendships, into your relationships, into the quiet places where you thought you could finally rest. But I am here to cut that lie at the root. Because when I created you, I called you good. Not just usable. Not just tolerable. Good. You were not a mistake. You were not too much or too little. I didn't mess up when I formed you. I didn't overestimate what you could handle. I didn't assign you to the wrong life. I knew every detail of your story before it began. I knew the battles you would face. I knew the heartbreaks that would break you open. I knew the choices you'd make, the ones you regret and the ones you haven't forgiven yourself for yet. And still I said, yes, this one is mine. I don't wait for perfection before I choose someone. I choose and then I transform. And your transformation is not finished. You may still see the cracks in your reflection, but I see the light pouring through them. I see a vessel that's being remade, not discarded. I see a heart that's softer now, more compassionate, more aware of what truly matters. You've been through too much to keep pretending. And that's a gift, because now you're ready for real freedom. Not a freedom that comes from control or reputation, but the kind that starts in the soul, the kind that says, I no longer have to earn what's already mine. You don't have to beg me to love you. You don't have to convince me to stay. I already do. I already have. I always will. And yes, there will still be days when you feel small, when you question everything, when fear creeps in like fog and blinds you from what I've promised. But don't measure your faith by how you feel in those moments. Faith is not the absence of fear, it's choosing to believe anyway. It's reaching for me even when your hands are trembling. It's praying even when your voice shakes. It's staying close even when your heart screams to run. And I am drawn to that kind of faith. The raw, vulnerable, persistent faith that whispers, I don't understand, but I'm still here. You don't have to have all the right words. Just keep coming. You don't have to be the strongest in the room. Just keep holding my hand. You don't need to fix everything. That's not your job. It's mine. Let me carry what's been crushing your shoulders. You were never built to bear it all. Lay it down. The anxiety, the expectations, the burden of proving yourself. Lay it down and walk with me. I will teach you how to breathe again, how to laugh again, how to live without fear hanging over every decision. This is the part of your story where peace starts to grow in the places where fear once ruled, where joy takes root even though your circumstances haven't yet changed. That's the power of walking with me, the miracle of internal transformation. I don't just touch your situation, I touch your sight. I give you new vision, not just for where you're going, but for who you are becoming. And what I see when I look at you is beautiful. Not because you've done everything right, but because you're still coming home to me, again and again. That is redemption. That is holiness. You've asked me so many times, Lord, how do I move forward when I still feel broken? And I answer you with this, forward isn't perfect. Forward is honest. Forward is slow if it needs to be. Forward is the courage to get up and try again. You think the pain disqualifies you, but it's part of your anointing. You think the tears make you weak, but they are watering seeds you can't yet see growing. You think your scars repel me, but they're the places I pour in my glory. Don't hide what I want to use. I'm not ashamed of you. I'm not disgusted by your past. I'm not waiting for you to reach some higher spiritual level before I start moving in your life. I'm moving now. I'm speaking now. I'm pouring out love now. Don't miss it because you think you need to be someone else to receive it. I came for the real you, The tired, weary, discouraged version who keeps showing up anyway. That's who I want. That's who I love. And now, I'm asking something of you. Not to prove anything, but to make space. Make space in your heart again. Let go of the things that keep drowning out my voice. The bitterness, the self-loathing, the resentment you hold against yourself and others. It's time to put those things down. They're not protecting you, they're poisoning you. You cannot carry purpose and poison at the same time. And what I'm calling you into requires room. Room for peace. Room for clarity. Room for the new things I'm about to do. You keep asking for breakthrough, but you're still clinging to what broke you. Trust me, when I ask you to release something, it's never to leave you empty. It's to fill you with something greater. I will never take without giving. I will never ask you to surrender without preparing a greater reward. But the exchange cannot happen in a clenched heart. It begins with open hands. So breathe now, not because your problems have vanished, but because your perspective is changing. Breathe, not with fear in your lungs, but with hope. This is not the end. This is a turning point, a sacred invitation, a holy shift. I am near, closer than your next thought, nearer than the weight on your chest. And I am not here to lecture you. I'm here to love you into freedom, into restoration, into the kind of life that radiates from the inside out. Not because you've escaped every trial, but because you've finally learned to trust me through them. You've been so hard on yourself. Every misstep you replay, every word you wish you could take back, every moment you felt like you failed, you've let them pile up like stones in your chest. And I've watched as you've quietly carried the weight of shame you were never meant to bear. You think the pain is punishment, but it's not. It's a signal, a cry from your soul that something needs to be released. And I am here now not to condemn you, but to carry that weight, to lift it off your shoulders and place it in my hands, where it was always meant to be. You can't fix the past, but you can stop letting it define your worth. I know you remember what happened. I know the thoughts come uninvited, but listen closely. I don't call you by your failure. I call you by your name. I call you beloved. I call you redeemed. You may still feel stained, but I see you clean. Not because you've cleaned yourself up, but because I've covered you with grace, the kind that doesn't run out when you need it most. The kind that steps in when you have nothing left to offer. The kind that whispers, "You are still mine." Even when you're ready to walk away, you think I'm disappointed in you, but I'm not. Not now. Not ever. My love is not based on performance. It's not fragile. It doesn't fluctuate with your mood, your mistakes, or your spiritual highs and lows. I am steady. I am sure. And I do not love you less on your worst days. In fact, I lean in closer. I draw near in your darkness, not to judge you, but to remind you that even here, even now, I am still your light. I haven't gone anywhere. I never will. So let me say it clearly. You are not your failure. You are not your fear. You are not the voice in your head that says you'll never be enough. You are a living testimony of my mercy, a walking vessel of grace. Do not let the enemy write your story in the ink of guilt. I've already rewritten it in the blood of forgiveness. That's the truth you need to hold now. Not the one shaped by your fears or your past, but the one shaped by my love. And I know it's not always easy to receive that. You've been trained to earn love, to hustle for approval, to prove your value. But I'm not like them. I don't need your perfection. I want your presence. I want your honesty. I want the version of you that stumbles toward me, even when you feel unworthy to be near. That's the one I wrap my arms around. That's the one I whisper to in the stillness. You are safe. You are home. This is what love looks like. Not just when everything is going well, but especially when everything feels like it's falling apart. I am the God who walks with you in the valley, not just the mountaintop. I don't love you more when you're performing well. I love you because you're mine. Period. Full stop. No conditions. No footnotes. No expiration date. And I know what you're thinking, but what about the parts of me I still can't fix? What about the sins I keep falling into? What about the days I can't even pray? I say to you again, I'm still here. My presence isn't based on your perfection. It's anchored in my promise. And I promised I'd never leave you. I promised I'd be your shepherd, even when you wander. I promised I'd hold you up when you can't stand. So when you feel too weak to come to me, just whisper my name. That's enough. I'll come running. I always do. And I need you to stop comparing your walk with mine to someone else's. You weren't made to mirror their journey. You weren't created to compete for blessings. My favor is not a contest. It's a covenant. What I'm doing in your life is not less holy just because it's quiet, just because it's hidden. I'm building depth, not drama. I'm writing a slow miracle. And though others may not see it yet, one day they will. One day, the fruit will blossom where the root has quietly grown. And you will know, without a shadow of a doubt, that I was with you all along. You don't have to prove your spirituality. You don't have to prove your worthiness. You don't have to wear your faith like armor to hide your wounds. Come to me with those wounds. Let me pour oil on them. Let me show you how even the broken pieces of your story can become mosaics of grace. What you thought disqualified you is often what I use to display my glory. I don't erase scars, I redeem them. And you, my child, are a vessel of redemption in the making. You've been walking through the fire, but not a single flame has touched your soul. You've felt the heat, yes, but I've been right beside you, keeping you from burning, forming you like gold, purifying what was always meant to shine. You think you've been waiting on me, but I've been waiting on you, not to be better, not to be stronger, but to finally believe how deeply I love you. So believe it now. Believe it in the silence. Believe it when you're afraid. Believe it when nothing makes sense. I am not done with you, and the best parts of your story are not behind you, they're ahead. You haven't missed your moment. You haven't lost your chance. What's coming will not be built on the wreckage of regret, but on the foundation of renewal. I am doing something new in you, and it starts with trust. Not perfect understanding, just trust. Just one more yes, one more prayer, one more moment in my presence. Stay close, my child. The storm won't last forever, but my love will. There's a part of you that has quietly believed you were too far gone, that maybe there was a window of opportunity, a moment when everything could have been different. But that moment passed, and now you're left with the almost strong enough, almost healed, almost free. But I need you to hear this with every fiber of your being. You are not too late. You are not too far. You are not disqualified. What I began in you, I intend to finish, not with disappointment, but with glory. And my timing is not measured in seconds, but in seasons. And this, my beloved, is a season of returning. You've spent too long tiptoeing through your life as though you were an intruder, walking on eggshells, asking permission to take up space, doubting every instinct that nudged you to rise. But I didn't give you breath so you could shrink. I didn't call you to be invisible. I created you to radiate my presence, not through perfection, but through authenticity, through the kind of love that can only be born in those who've known pain and risen again. You don't need to earn your voice. You were born with it, and now I'm calling you to use it. I know that terrifies you. I know that every time you've opened your heart, you've been tempted to close it again. You've trusted only to be betrayed. You've dreamed only to be disappointed. So you built walls, not because you didn't care, but because you cared too much. But my child, the walls that protect also imprison. They keep out the harm, yes, but they also keep out the healing. And I want to reach you where no one else has been allowed to go. To the innermost places, the rooms you've kept locked, the stories you've left unfinished. Let me in, not because I want to expose you, because I want to restore you. I know the real you, the you who laughs when no one's watching, the you who still hopes, even when your heart is tired, the you who loves deeply, even though you pretend not to. I made that heart. I wrote its rhythm, and though it's been bruised, it's still beating. That alone is a miracle. That's the proof you're not done. You don't have to pretend with me. You never did. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone could notice. I felt the weight of the words you didn't say because you were too afraid to speak them. But you can say them now. I'm listening. You don't have to be strong in every moment. You don't have to wear your faith like a costume. Real faith doesn't always look like bold declarations. Sometimes, it looks like whispers in the dark. Sometimes, it looks like getting out of bed when you'd rather stay curled in the ache. Sometimes, it looks like simply breathing when anxiety wants to take your voice. And I see all of it. Not one moment of your struggle has been wasted. Not one sigh has gone unheard. I know you've been praying for change. I've heard the longing in your voice when you ask me to make things different. In your life, in your family, in your mind. And I will. But sometimes, before I change your circumstances, I change you within them. Not because I'm withholding good from you, but because I want the good to last. I want it to find a home in a heart that's ready to receive. And you're getting there. Every time you choose hope over fear, every time you surrender control and open your clenched fists, you're making room. Room for joy, for peace, for purpose, for healing so deep it changes the way you walk. And make no mistake, healing is coming. Slowly, yes, but surely. There are parts of you already being restored that you haven't even noticed. Old thought patterns breaking, new desires awakening, a softness returning to your soul. That's me. That's my spirit whispering to you in your sleep, reminding you that you were made for more than cycles of disappointment. You were made for breakthrough, not just once, but continually. I don't want to just rescue you. I want to dwell with you, walk with you, laugh with you, build with you. This is not about one answered prayer. This is about an entire life made whole. A future that is not a reaction to your past, but a response to my promises. You are not cursed. You are not abandoned. You are not broken beyond repair. You are anointed, protected, and surrounded by a love that knows no end. And yes, the enemy still tries to speak, still tries to remind you of what went wrong, who walked away, what was said about you in dark corners. But let me tell you this, he is afraid of what you are becoming. Because when you stop believing the lies and start living in truth, your life becomes a threat to every shadow. You become a light that exposes what darkness fears most, hope. And that hope is not naive. It's not empty. It's a hope rooted in a promise I made before the foundations of the earth, that I would never leave you, never forsake you, and never stop calling your name. And now I'm calling louder than ever, not because you're in danger, but because you're ready, ready to rise, ready to walk forward without apology, ready to forgive yourself for the things you've held against your own soul. I don't want you walking in circles anymore. The wilderness was never meant to be your home, only a place of preparation. The place of your next beginning is just ahead. Not another detour, not another delay, a true beginning. And it starts now, with this moment, with this yes, with this choice to believe again. So don't look back. Don't measure your worth by your mistakes. Don't measure my love by what others failed to give. You are more than what happened to you. You are more than the version of yourself that didn't know better. And I am more than capable of turning every setback into a stage for your return. I'm not finished. I'm just getting started. There is a moment when the fog begins to lift. Not all at once, but slowly, steadily. And the light begins to return to places you thought were permanently dim. That moment is now. I see the corners of your heart where you once locked away dreams. I see the shelves where you've quietly placed pieces of yourself. Things you used to love, hopes you used to nurture, parts of you that felt too fragile to carry into the next chapter. And I am reaching for those parts now, gently, with hands that do not break, but build. I am here to restore you to yourself, not the version you had to become to survive, but the one I created before the world taught you to hide. You were never meant to live buried beneath fear. You were not designed to blend in with the shadows. There is a fire within you that cannot be extinguished by disappointment, not even by delay. It has flickered through storms, but it has never gone out. That flicker is holy. That flicker is your anointing. And now I am breathing on it again, not to turn it into a blaze of chaos, but into a steady flame, one that warms, one that illuminates, one that guides not just you, but others around you who are searching for the same light. You may not feel ready. You may look around at your life and still see chaos. But I'm not asking you to be ready. I'm asking you to be willing to trust me when you don't have clarity, willing to obey when the path isn't fully lit, willing to take one step even when your legs still tremble from the last storm. Because I'm not looking for strength you don't have. I'm looking for surrender you've never given. And that surrender, that's where your real strength begins. You've been trying to carry too much, trying to be the one who holds it all together, the relationships, the responsibilities, the quiet pain that no one sees. But I never called you to carry what I've already taken to the cross. I never asked you to be your own savior. I asked you to be my child. And children don't carry the burden. They run into their father's arms. So run to me now, not with shame, not with pretense. Just you, the real you, the one I've been waiting for, the one I never stopped loving. There is no punishment waiting for you here, only peace, only the kind of love that breaks chains without breaking the soul. I'm not here to remind you of what you've done wrong. I'm here to remind you who you are. You are not your worst day. You are not the mistake you replay in your mind every night. You are not what they said about you when they didn't understand your heart. You are mine, bought with a price, carried through fire, and still standing. You think that means nothing has affected you, but that's not what strength is. Strength doesn't mean you didn't cry. It means you didn't quit. It doesn't mean you weren't afraid. It means you kept walking despite the fear. And that's what I'm honoring now. The quiet persistence. The small prayers whispered through tears. The way you chose love when anger would have been easier. The way you kept showing up for others even when you were falling apart inside. I saw it all. I still do. And now I'm turning the page. Not by erasing your story, but by redeeming it. You're not starting over from nothing. You're rising from a place of experience, of growth, of divine preparation. What looked like a delay was actually design. What felt like silence was actually strategy. I've been aligning things behind the scenes, not just outside of you, but within you. So don't despise the season that shaped you. It wasn't a waste. It was the workshop of heaven. You're entering a time where clarity will begin to replace confusion. Where healing will start to feel like freedom, not just survival. Where my spirit will speak louder than the voices of fear that have dominated for too long. I am bringing you into alignment, not just with my will, but with my heart. And in my heart, you are not merely a servant. You are a son, a daughter, a beloved, one who has access, one who doesn't have to beg for what has already been promised. You belong here. You always have. And that belonging, it's not based on your behavior. It's based on my blood, my covenant, my eternal yes over your life. Yes, you are called. Yes, you are chosen. Yes, you are forgiven. Yes, you are still in the center of my will, even when you felt far from me. Because I don't measure your journey by your detours. I measure it by your direction. And your direction right now is turning toward me. That's all I've ever wanted. I want your heart, not your perfection. I want your honesty, not your image. I want to walk with you, talk with you, dwell in every corner of your life. Not just the ones you feel proud of, but the ones you're scared to let anyone see. Those places, they're the ones I want to fill with light. And I will, because I am not afraid of your shadows. I am the light that shadows cannot overcome. So come out of hiding. You've been in the cave long enough. The tomb is empty, and so is the lie that says you have to stay buried. I didn't raise my son so you could live half alive. I raised him to raise you, fully, freely, forever. And that resurrection life is not a distant hope. It's a present invitation to step out, to step up, to step into the identity that has always been yours. And no, this isn't the end of all your trials, but it is the end of believing you face them alone. It is the end of thinking you have to earn every breakthrough. The blessing is not the result of performance. It's the fruit of presence. My presence in you, with you, through you. And that presence is your strength, your peace, your power. You are not who you used to be. You're not even who you were yesterday. Every moment with me changes something. And what's changing now is deeper than what the world can see. But soon, oh so soon, it will rise to the surface, and even those who doubted you will see what I've been doing all along. You were not created to blend into the noise. You were not placed here just to survive until it's over. You were born for impact, for radiance, for purpose. And I know somewhere along the way that fire was almost extinguished. The voices around you were loud, and the silence within you made you wonder if I had forgotten your name. But I didn't. I never stopped calling you. Even when you stopped listening, I never stopped speaking. Even when you stopped reaching, I never let go. Because I've always seen what you carry. The potential, the love, the wisdom that didn't come from textbooks or applause, but from pain that shaped you in secret. You think no one noticed, but I noticed. I saw you say no when it would have been easier to give in. I saw you choose forgiveness when bitterness was louder. I saw the kindness you gave when no one gave it to you in return. That is strength. That is leadership. That is holiness wrapped in humanity. And I honor it. But now, my child, it's time to rise. Not just inwardly, not just silently, outwardly, boldly. It's time to step into the purpose you've been shaped for. Not in arrogance, not to prove anything, but in obedience. Because the world needs what I placed inside you. Yes, you. Even if you feel like you're still healing. Even if you think you're not the best fit. I don't choose the polished. I choose the willing. And you are willing. That's why you're here. This is no longer just about personal healing. That part is already underway. Now it's about purpose. About stepping out of the shadows and into the spaces I've prepared for you. You've spent years walking quietly, unsure if your voice mattered. But I'm telling you now it does. And not just for your sake. There are people waiting for what you've survived. They need the truth you carry. The kind of truth that isn't rehearsed or packaged, but lived, raw, real, redeemed. You may not feel like a leader, but you are. Leadership in my kingdom isn't measured by platforms or titles. It's measured by heart, by character, by the courage to live differently when everyone else settles. You've already been leading by how you've endured, by how you've chosen me when it would have been easier to run. And now, I'm calling you to lead more boldly, not by shouting louder, but by walking in my presence so powerfully that your very life becomes a light others can follow. And yes, it may cost you. Not everyone will understand your obedience. Not everyone will celebrate your surrender. But let them go. Let go of needing their approval. Let go of explaining yourself. You don't owe the world an apology for growing. You don't need permission to walk in purpose. I gave you that permission when I breathed life into your lungs. So walk now, not in fear, but in freedom. And while you walk, know this, you are not alone. I'm not sending you into battle without armor. I'm clothing you in truth, in grace, in divine favor that goes before you and opens doors you never could have pushed open on your own. I will be your strength when you feel overwhelmed. I will be your wisdom when your mind is uncertain. I will be your defender when opposition rises. And it will rise not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're finally stepping into everything right. Don't let resistance scare you. Let it confirm that you're moving in the right direction. Darkness doesn't fight what isn't a threat. And you, my child, are a threat to everything that ever tried to silence you. That's why the pressure has been so heavy. That's why the attacks have felt personal. Because the enemy knows what I've placed in you. He saw it long before you did. But he's powerless now. Because you're awake. And nothing is more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness than a child of mine who finally realizes they were born to shine. This isn't about becoming someone new. This is about becoming who you've always been, underneath the fear, beneath the trauma, beyond the rejection. This is about restoration. About standing in your true identity and saying, I will no longer be what the world demanded. I will be what heaven declared. And heaven declared you holy. Heaven declared you chosen. Heaven declared you anointed for such a time as this. So don't waste time rehearsing what you're not. Start living in what you are. You are loved without condition. You are protected without limitation. You are empowered beyond your imagination. My spirit is alive in you. My word is alive through you. And every place you set your feet in obedience I will give to you. Not for fame, not for attention, but for impact, for legacy, for love that multiplies through generations who will rise because you dared to believe me now. The generations behind you and the ones still to come, They matter to me. And they are part of your assignment. That's why I've been so intentional with your healing. That's why I didn't rush the process. Because I'm not just healing you for you. I'm healing you so you can become a well for others. So your life can be a refuge, a testimony, a lighthouse for those lost in storms like the ones you've already survived. Let your story be told. Let your scars be seen. Not to glorify the pain, but to glorify the one who walked you through it. People don't need a perfect hero. They need a living witness. And you, my child, are that witness. The kind who walks through fire and doesn't smell like smoke. The kind who falls but rises stronger. The kind who breaks but breaks open and becomes a vessel for glory. Don't hold back anymore. Don't let fear steal the next chapter. What I want to do through you will require faith, yes. But it will also bring joy, the kind of joy you forgot was possible. The kind of joy that bubbles up not from circumstances, but from calling. From knowing, deep in your soul, that you are doing what you were born to do. There's something rising in you now that you can't fully explain. A courage you didn't know you had. A conviction that wasn't there before. A quiet fire that keeps burning even on days when nothing seems to go right. That's not just motivation. That's not adrenaline. That's me, my spirit, breathing life into your soul again. You've been asking for revival, and maybe you thought revival would come in a rush of emotion or a dramatic moment. But often, revival begins with a whisper. Keep going. I'm not done. I haven't just come to lift you out of the pit. I've come to fill you with power. Not the kind that intimidates, the kind that illuminates, the kind that walks into dark places and shifts the atmosphere without saying a word, the kind that carries peace where chaos ruled. That's what I'm pouring into you now. Not just healing, but holy presence. Not just encouragement, but empowerment. Because this world doesn't need another echo. It needs a voice that carries heaven's breath. And that's who you're becoming. You've spent enough time looking for signs. Now you're becoming one. A living sign that grace is real. That mercy still transforms. That joy is not dead. That it's still possible to walk in purity, in truth, in love, and not be swallowed by the madness of this age. You're not perfect, but you are set apart. And that is not a burden. It is a gift. And with that gift comes a calling. Not to carry the weight of the world, but to carry my spirit wherever you go. Do you understand what that means? It means you don't have to wait for a church building to feel holy. You are the temple. You carry me now. In every room you enter, heaven walks in with you. In every conversation, my voice is available if you choose to listen. In every decision, my wisdom stands ready if you pause to ask. That's the power of intimacy. That's what I've been leading you toward all along. Not just an experience with me, but a life in me. A daily, constant, unshakable awareness that I am here. I am with you. I am in you. And because I'm in you, the way you walk matters. Not because I'm trying to control you, but because I've entrusted you with something sacred. You carry light now, and light always has an effect. It doesn't try, it simply shines. And in your shining, things change. Not because you force them, but because my presence is undeniable. That's why you don't need to argue with darkness. You don't need to prove yourself to the world. You only need to remain. Remain in me. Remain in truth. Remain in love. And the fruit will speak louder than any argument ever could. You've been asking for more of me, and I've heard you. But understand this, more of me will always mean less of what the world offers. There is a cost to carrying my glory. You will feel misunderstood. You will be resisted. You will have to walk away from what once gave you comfort but now poisons your clarity. But every no you say to the world becomes a yes in heaven. Every time you choose holiness over popularity, you are sowing eternal seeds. You are building what cannot be shaken. And don't be surprised when people begin to notice. When they look at you and say, "There's something different." That's not your personality. That's not your charisma. That's me. The fragrance of my presence resting on you. The glow of my glory leaking through your life. You don't have to try to impress. You only have to remain available. And I will use you in ways that will surprise even you. I'll send people across your path who need hope, and I'll place the right words in your mouth. I'll bring the hurting near you, and your story will become the key that unlocks their healing. I'll surround you with opportunities to love radically, to forgive freely, to serve joyfully, and to shine without fear. And when you feel weak, good, because then you'll remember who the strength belongs to. You'll remember that it's not your reputation that carries the weight. It's my name, and I've placed that name upon you. You are my ambassador now, not because you have a title, but because you carry truth. And truth, when wrapped in love, has the power to break the hardest chains. That's why your journey matters. That's why I've been shaping you. Because the world is not changed by perfection. It's changed by those who carry my presence into imperfection without losing their identity. You've learned who you are not. Now it's time to walk in who you are. And who are you? You are a house of prayer, a vessel of light, a living altar where my fire burns continually. You are a warrior who doesn't fight with bitterness but with blessing, a peacemaker in a world of panic, a stormwalker who has learned not to curse the wind but to walk on water with me when the waves rise high. You are not defined by what opposes you. You are defined by the one who lives inside you, and I have overcome the world. So go, not in haste, not in fear. Go in peace. Go with purpose. Walk like someone who knows where they belong. Not because the road is smooth, but because the one who made it walks beside you. You don't need to wait for the right opportunity. You are the opportunity. You don't need to be louder. You need to be truer. And in your truth I will move. In your stillness I will speak. In your weakness I will demonstrate strength beyond logic. I will confirm your words with signs that follow, not because you demand them, but because you believe. You are walking into a season of bold faith. Faith that dares to dream again. Faith that believes miracles are not ancient stories. They are today's reality. Faith that stops checking for permission and starts walking in identity. Faith that lays hands on the sick and expects healing. Faith that speaks to mountains and watches them move. That's not just for the few. That's for you. You who felt too broken. You who doubted your worth. You who are still healing. I'm using you. Let the fire burn. Let the light shine. Let your heart beat louder than your fear. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your obedience. You have my spirit. You have my word. You have my authority. You are ready. Not because you feel ready, but because I've said so. You've walked with me through the shadows. You've listened in silence. You've let me touch the deepest places of your pain. And now, I tell you again, you are not only healed, you are commissioned. You've been equipped through every wilderness, refined by every flame, awakened by every moment you thought would break you. But you didn't break. You transformed. And now I am calling you forward, not just to follow, but to lead. This world does not need more noise. It needs clarity. It doesn't need more influencers. It needs voices that carry authority born of encounter. You don't need to convince people that I'm real. Just live in such a way that your very life becomes the evidence. You don't need to have all the answers. Just carry my presence. My presence is the answer. It's not a concept you preach. It's a reality you carry. You've spent years wondering when your time would come, when the doors would open, when the moment would arrive. But listen carefully, you are in the moment now. This isn't preparation anymore. It's activation. I'm calling you out of hiding. No more shrinking. No more waiting for confirmation after confirmation. My spirit within you is all the confirmation you need. And yes, it may feel uncomfortable, but that's because you've outgrown the space you were in. When eagles are born, they live in nests, but nests aren't permanent. They are only places of becoming. And when the wings are strong enough, the nest becomes a cage. That tension you feel, that stirring, that restlessness, is not confusion. It's the call to rise. It's time to spread your wings. Not because the ground is unsafe, but because the sky is yours. I didn't give you vision so you could sit still. I gave it so you could soar. You will no longer live in reaction to fear. You will live in response to love. Fear will not lead you anymore. It may knock at your door, but it won't be answered. It may whisper, but its voice will fade. Because my love is louder now. And where my love is, fear cannot remain. So step boldly. not with recklessness, but with resolve. The kind of resolve that says, even if I tremble, I will still trust, and you will see me move, not just around you, through you. You will speak and healing will come. You will pray and the atmosphere will shift. You will walk into rooms that once intimidated you and realize they were waiting for what you carry. My glory, my wisdom, my kindness, my justice, my compassion. You won't need to announce yourself. You'll walk in and the shift will speak for itself. Do not be surprised when people begin to ask questions. They will feel the difference, even if they don't know how to name it. Some will be drawn, others will resist. But remember, rejection is not always about you. Sometimes it's a sign that my light in you is confronting something they've kept hidden. Keep shining anyway. Don't dim your radiance to make others comfortable in their compromise. You're not called to fit in. You're called to illuminate. And illumination comes with responsibility. Not to perform, but to stay rooted. Rooted in my word. Rooted in my presence. Rooted in truth that doesn't shift with culture. There will be days when it would be easier to coast, to blend in, to say what's popular. But I didn't raise you to echo. I raised you to speak. And when you speak, speak with grace. Speak with fire. Speak with the certainty of someone who has been with me. You don't have to force it. You don't have to chase favor. Favor will find you, because favor is not luck. It's alignment. And you, my beloved, are walking in alignment now. Your yes has created openings in heaven that no man can shut. The things you thought were delayed are now being released. Not because you demanded them, but because you've been faithful in the quiet. And I reward faithfulness, not flash. So take the next step, even if it's unfamiliar, even if you've never seen anyone do it before. I'm not calling you to copy a pattern. I'm calling you to walk a path I made only for you. A path where your footsteps are marked by peace, your decisions by wisdom, your heart by freedom. You will not walk in shame anymore. You will not hide behind what was. The old has passed. This is new ground now. And with new ground comes new grace. You won't have to strive to maintain what I establish. I am building through you not just moments, but movements. Your obedience will spark change in places you've never been. Your prayers will cover people you've never met. Your story will reach farther than your voice, because I am multiplying your impact. I am taking what felt like small seeds and growing forests of legacy. Legacy is not built in a day, but it begins with one decision. And you've made that decision. You've chosen me, again and again, even when it was hard, even when it felt lonely, even when it cost you things others couldn't understand. I've seen every yes, and I've woven them into a foundation that cannot be shaken. So walk now, not just with faith, but with fire. Not just with hope, but with holy determination. The kind that knows this is not the end of a journey. This is the launch, the release, the moment when everything that's been hidden in your spirit begins to surface. And when it does, don't hold back. Let it pour. Let it flow. Let it stretch. Because you are not small. You were never small. You are made in my image, and my image never fades. You're going to see things shift. You're going to see answers where you only saw waiting. You're going to watch relationships be restored, doors open, strategies downloaded in the quiet. Not because you're chasing a platform, but because you're walking in purpose. And when purpose becomes your rhythm, peace becomes your pace. That's how you'll know it's me. So breathe and rise. You've waited long enough. You've wondered long enough. Now you walk. Now that you've stepped into this calling. Now that the fire has been kindled and your feet are moving. I need you to understand this truth. It's not the flame that sustains you. It's the oil. Emotions rise and fall. Moments of inspiration will come and go. But the ones who endure, the ones who walk in power, not just passion, are those who remain connected to the source. You cannot pour without being filled. You cannot shine long-term without staying close. So don't just burn. Be sustained. The journey ahead is not about momentum. It's about maturity. I'm not calling you to sprint. I'm teaching you how to abide. Because those who abide in me, they don't just survive. They bear fruit. Fruit that lasts. Fruit that multiplies. fruit that nourishes others long after the applause fades and the spotlight moves on. This is about becoming steady, becoming rooted, becoming unshaken even when the winds rise again. And the winds will rise. There will be days when the same fears try to return, when the same lies knock on the door of your mind. But this time you will not waver, because now you know who you are. Now you've tasted what it means to walk in my presence, and no counterfeit will satisfy you again. This is your strength, not in having perfect days, but in returning to me day after day, moment after moment, without shame, without hesitation, knowing that I will always meet you. Your strength won't be measured by how loudly you shout your faith, but by how quietly you trust me when no one is watching. It will be measured by the way you keep showing up, when it's hard, when it's quiet, when it's boring, when it's lonely. Consistency is where authority is born, and I am building that in you, not for a season, for a legacy. You've been asking me to move, to open doors, to multiply the work of your hands, and I will. But understand, the most powerful thing I can build through you is not what you do. It's who you become. Because who you become will outlive what you build. Who you become is the witness, the voice, the living, breathing evidence that I still change lives. And that's why I'm rooting you now. That's why I'm anchoring you deeper than ever before. You've learned how to surrender. Now you will learn how to stand. Stand when others fall away. Stand when truth is mocked. Stand when love is misunderstood. Stand not in pride, but in peace. The kind of peace that comes from knowing you're planted in something eternal. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. Quiet conviction is still a roar in my kingdom. Your life is louder than your words. Let your life preach now. Preach through integrity. Preach through purity. Preach through how you treat those who have nothing to offer you. Preach through your consistency when no one is clapping. Preach through the way you hold to joy when cynicism is easier. Every time you choose me in secret, you're preaching. Every time you turn your back on compromise, you're shining. And I see it all. Nothing is wasted. Nothing goes unnoticed. You've longed for influence, and influence will come. But I want you to know, influence is not popularity. It's responsibility. I'm not giving you people to impress. I'm giving you people to love, to serve, to lead into freedom with the same grace I've poured over you. And that means staying close to me, not just for you, but for them. You will not be able to lead well unless you continue to follow. The moment you disconnect from the vine, the fruit withers. Stay connected, stay fed, stay humble. Humility will be your protection. Not the kind that pretends you're less than you are, but the kind that remembers every strength, every gift, every opportunity is from me. You won't need to be self-important because you'll already know how valuable you are. You won't crave validation because you'll already have my affirmation. That's where freedom is. That's where you'll walk in clarity even when the crowd goes silent. There will be moments when you'll feel unseen, when what you do won't be celebrated. But I promise you, I'm watching, and I reward what's done in secret. I bless what's sown in quiet fields. I anoint what's built on hidden foundations. So don't despise the hidden places. Don't grow weary in the slow seasons. That's where the oil is made. That's where the fragrance forms. That's where the vessels that carry glory are shaped. You are becoming someone the world cannot ignore. Not because of your fame, but because of your fragrance. You carry the scent of heaven now, the unmistakable mark of someone who has been with me. And that will open more doors than charisma ever could. That will speak louder than credentials. That will go further than ambition. Because it is not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. So walk with grace now, not hurried, not anxious, steady, confident, grateful. This is not the end of the excitement. This is the beginning of the endurance. And I will sustain you. I will teach you how to rest without retreating, how to be strong without striving, how to remain open without being overwhelmed. You are not alone in this. I didn't start this work in you just to watch it unravel. I will carry it to completion. Let your yes remain unshaken. Let your heart stay soft. Let your feet stay planted in peace. Because when the storms rise again, and they will, you will not bend. You will not break. You will be like the tree planted by streams of living water. Your roots will drink deep. Your fruit will nourish many. Your leaves will not wither. And whatever you do will prosper. You were never meant to be ordinary. The breath I placed in you was never meant for survival alone. It was meant to bring transformation. Every room you walk into now is different because you carry me. Every conversation, every relationship, every assignment is a divine appointment waiting to unfold. And I want you to understand something profound. This isn't about influence for the sake of impact. This is about incarnation. I'm not just flowing through you. I'm dwelling in you. Your life is not just a message. It's a move of God. And no, it doesn't always feel that way. Some days still feel small, routine, invisible. But that's where I work most faithfully. In the unseen, in the overlooked, in the places where consistency meets calling. You don't have to chase visibility. Just remain faithful. The fruit you bear in the hidden places will feed souls in ways you'll never fully comprehend. And now that you're walking in this level of freedom, I'm placing something sacred in your hands. Responsibility with eternal weight. I'm calling you to see beyond the moment. To live like eternity is more than a concept. It's your compass. There are people assigned to your obedience. There are destinies intertwined with your yes. You don't even know how far the ripple will go. But I do. And I want you to carry it not with pressure, but with honor. This is where maturity begins to shine. Not in how loud you shout truth, but in how deeply you live it. In how gently you treat those who stumble. In how boldly you love those the world walks past. You've seen religion without compassion, but now you will show relationship that breathes with grace. You've seen truth without love, but now you will speak with both fire and tenderness. You will be the balance, the bridge, the presence that helps others see me clearly. Not just in your sermons, but in your silence. Not just in your victories, but in how you handle your valleys. The time is now for you to walk in influence, not a worldly kind built on platforms and applause, but a kingdom kind built on presence and integrity. This kind of influence doesn't come with a spotlight. It comes with weight, with spiritual authority, with anointing that cannot be explained by natural means. And it comes because you've been faithful with what little I gave you. And now I will entrust you with more. You don't need to strategize your way into significance. You are already significant. So stop trying to impress and just remain obedient. There will be moments when I prompt you to speak, and when you do, chains will fall. There will be times when I lead you to be still, and even in that stillness, the room will change. You don't need to overthink it. Just remain available. I will speak when needed. I will silence when needed. You are my vessel now, not just my child. And through you, I will bring comfort to the weary. I will bring justice to the oppressed. I will bring light to the hopeless and clarity to the confused. Not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. I'm not looking for flawless vessels. I'm looking for yielded ones. The world has seen enough noise. Now it's time they see evidence. Evidence of a life lived from a different source, a different strength, a different spirit. And don't worry, I will not let your soul dry out while you pour into others. I will fill you again and again. As long as you keep coming to me, you will never lack what you need. In your secret place, I will speak louder than the platforms. In your solitude, I will be closer than the crowd. My spirit will be your refreshment, and your joy will not be stolen, because this isn't a performance. It's a partnership. And in this partnership, I will send you places you never expected. I will open doors that education, connections, and talent could never have accessed. Because you've chosen to walk by faith, not by formula. And faith is the currency of heaven. Every time you obey me in small things, you open the floodgates for bigger things. You don't need to manipulate. You only need to move when I move. You've asked me to use you. I will. But remember, the world will not always recognize the value of what you carry. Don't let that discourage you. Let it refine you. Some will misunderstand your peace. Others will question your confidence. But you're not here to be understood. You're here to be faithful. You're not here to blend in. You're here to be light. And light by nature stands out. There's a generation crying out for what you've been through. They don't need theory, they need someone who has walked through the valley and come out glowing. Someone who knows the sound of my voice in the storm. Someone who carries not just answers, but atmosphere. That's you. You carry the atmosphere of heaven. And where you go, peace will reign. Healing will manifest. Clarity will come. Because my spirit within you is not limited by your experience. It is driven by my glory. Let me lead now, not just in the big decisions, but in the minute ones. In how you manage your time. In how you speak to the stranger. In how you respond when no one's watching. Influence is not what happens when the camera is on. It's what you carry when no one is looking. And what you carry now is sacred. You are a walking move of God. Not a sermon. A sign. Not a title. A testimony. Not a brand. A burning heart that refuses to be tamed by culture. You live for something higher now. And the more you walk in this, the more I will pour. The more I pour, the more you will shine. The more you shine, the more the darkness will be driven back. You are not just a person. You are my answer to a cry the world has been praying and didn't even know it. Walk with reverence now. Walk with confidence. You're not carrying just your name anymore, you carry mine. You've come so far, and yet I want you to understand. This is still only the beginning. What's ahead of you is not a finish line but a holy unfolding. You are not being led to a moment, you are being led into a movement. A life that ripples with my presence in every breath, every glance, every act of love. You are not just a follower anymore, you are a forerunner. You are not just healed, you are healing. You are not just free, you are freedom in motion for others to witness. The world has been watching, and they've seen imitation. They've seen noise. But now they will see glory, not in the form of spectacle, but in the form of steady fire. That's what you've become. A steady flame, unshaken by the winds of culture, undimmed by rejection, untouched by the need to please anyone but me. You've learned the secret. When you walk with me, you walk in unshakable peace. And it's that peace that the world is starving for. They won't always know how to describe it, but they'll feel it when they meet you. They'll feel something shift, something soften, something awaken. That's not charisma. That's not intellect. That's my spirit resting on your life. You are no longer trying to represent me. You radiate me. You are becoming the kind of person whose presence makes it easier for others to believe I am real. You've been through fires you didn't think you'd survive. You've walked through battles you didn't sign up for, but you're still here, still standing, still surrendered. And now your life is no longer defined by the wounds. It's defined by what has been restored. I'm using what once broke you to now build something through you that cannot be broken. What was once your weakness has become your witness. And now, as your roots go deeper, your reach will stretch further. I am increasing your influence not just in numbers but in weight. You will carry substance. The kind of substance that doesn't just entertain, it transforms. The kind of substance that doesn't just inspire for a moment, it invites people into a lifelong encounter. What you carry cannot be faked, cannot be bought. It has been forged in tears, in prayer, in midnight surrender. That's why it's unshakable. So don't hold back. Don't second guess the boldness I've placed in you. You're not arrogant for walking in authority. You're not boastful for knowing who you are. Confidence in me is not pride, it's alignment. And when you walk in alignment, you walk in miracles. When you walk in alignment, you don't need to force anything, you just flow. The world is shifting. Hearts are softening. The hunger is rising. And I'm sending you into it not to judge, but to invite. To create spaces where the weary can rest, where the ashamed can feel safe, where the broken can believe again. You are a carrier of that atmosphere now. You are an answer to prayers others haven't dared to voice. You are the physical presence of my open arms. That's what it means to live an anointed life. It's not about eloquence, it's about essence. It's about living in such a way that even your silence becomes a sanctuary, that even your pain preaches peace, that even your waiting speaks faith, that even your delays become declarations that I am still enough. And yes, there will be battles ahead. Higher ground always attracts resistance. But this time, you won't face them as a wounded survivor. You'll face them as a healed warrior, a child who knows their authority, a soul anchored in the truth. The same wind that once knocked you over will now push you forward. The same storms that once scared you will now send you deeper into me. You are no longer trying to find your place. You found it in me. You are no longer wrestling for identity. You've received it, and it cannot be shaken by opinions, rejections, or even your own moments of doubt. You are mine. You are marked. You are sent. And your life will echo with that message until your final breath. From this place I will establish new things. Through your obedience I will build bridges where there were walls. Through your compassion I will soften hearts that were hardened by religion. Through your testimony I will draw the wandering home. You don't need to change the whole world overnight, but you will change someone's world today and again tomorrow simply by being faithful. Stay low, stay hungry, stay yielded, and I will pour more, not for your glory, but for mine, not for your platform, but for their freedom. You are a part of something bigger now, something eternal, something that heaven celebrates. Every step you take now echoes with divine purpose. Every word you speak can carry resurrection. Every act of love can break chains that sermons never could. So walk with reverence, speak with authority, love without fear, and stay with me. No matter how high I lift you, never forget how close I want you. I don't just want your ministry, I want your heart. I don't just want your obedience, I want your affection. That's where your strength will always come from. Intimacy, not industry. Worship, not worry. My presence, not pressure. You have become a living sanctuary, a moving temple, a fire that doesn't fade. And though the world will try to define you by success, by influence, by reach, I define you by nearness. You're close to me now, and in that closeness you'll never run out of clarity, never run out of power, never run out of peace. So don't slow down, and don't hold back. What I'm about to do through you next will not just bless you, it will awaken generations. And it will all begin with a whisper in your heart that says, "Still, I will follow. Come close, closer still. Let everything else fade for a moment. Let the noise quiet. Let the rush slow. Just be here with me. This is where you've always belonged. Not running, not striving, not searching, just resting, just breathing, just knowing that you are fully, eternally mine. You've walked the valleys. You've climbed the hills. You've heard my voice in whispers and in thunder. You've wept and you've rejoiced. You've wrestled with questions and found peace in my answers. And now I want you to see what it's all been leading to: union. Not just belief in me, but life with me. Not a faith that visits on Sundays, but a faith that walks every step, breathes every breath, loves every moment as if heaven was here, because in you, it is. You are my dwelling place, and I am not in a hurry to leave. You don't need to wait until eternity to walk in communion. You were made for now, for the kind of relationship that makes religion tremble, for a closeness that no theology can box in. I want you in me and I in you. This is not metaphor. This is mystery made manifest. This is the great unveiling, that I do not just call you servant or follower or even friend. I call you one with me, and in this oneness, there is no fear left. There is no striving left. There is no wondering if you've done enough, if you've prayed enough, if you've believed enough. There is only belonging. There is only me, holding you, carrying you, and rejoicing over you with singing. Yes, even now, even after all you've been through, I still delight in you. You've asked, "What now, Lord?" You've wondered, "What comes next?" And the answer is simple: stay. Stay in this place of union. Stay in this place of listening. Stay in this rhythm where every moment becomes worship, where every task becomes sacred, where every breath is a chance to say, "I love you too," because when you stay close, you will know where to go. You will know what to say. You will know what to release and what to hold. Not from pressure, but from peace. I'm not sending you out alone. I'm going with you. And not only that, I'm going through you. The world around you is groaning for answers it can't find in systems, institutions, or shallow philosophies. It's longing for presence. And you, my beloved, carry that presence now. When you enter a space, don't underestimate what happens. Demons tremble. Hope awakens. Chains begin to loosen, not because of your strength, but because of who is alive within you. You are the continuation of a story that began long before you breathed your first breath, and will echo long after your last. You are part of the unshakable kingdom. You are a stone in the eternal temple. You are a voice in the chorus of the saints. You are not just passing through this life, you are transforming it one act of love, one word of life, one surrendered yes at a time. And know this, there is no end to how close we can go. There is always more of me, deeper waters, greater glory, not for pride but for purpose. You were made for unending intimacy, for limitless encounters, for glory to glory to glory, forever. You've just begun to taste the edge of it. But there's more, always more, and I will never run out of myself to give you. I want your heart to beat with mine. I want your dreams to grow within my will. I want your love to mirror my love. And that happens not through striving, but through stillness, through remaining, through the quiet courage of one who knows they are home and never has to leave again. This is your rhythm now. Receive, release, rest, repeat. Let my spirit pour into you like rain. Let my words rise through your mouth like fire. Let my peace become the shield around your soul. Let love be the only law you live by, because in love all things flow. Healing, prophecy, justice, power, creativity, joy. Love is not a side note. Love is the bloodstream of my kingdom, and you, my child, are filled with it now.
So pour Freely.
Live unafraid. Give without limits. Walk without compromise. Dance without shame. Create without fear. Lead without needing to control. This is the life of one who knows they are fully known and fully loved. This is the life that draws others not to you, but to me, because your life becomes the fragrance of heaven. And one day, not far from now, you'll look around and realize you're no longer walking alone. Others are following, not because you told them to, but because they saw the light. They felt the warmth. They heard the echo of eternity in your story, and they wanted to find what you found. And when they ask you where it came from, you will smile, not with pride, but with peace, and simply say, "It was always him. I am the beginning. I am the end. I am the one who called you, the one who carried you, the one who will complete in you everything I promised." And when you breathe your final breath, it won't be the end of your purpose. It will be the beginning of your reward. But until that day comes, we walk, we love, we shine. We release heaven on earth together. So now rise again. One more time. Not in striving, in surrender. Not in fear, in fullness. Not chasing a destination, but moving from intimacy. Because you're not waiting for revival anymore. You are revival. You're not watching for miracles. You are the miracle. You're not hoping to be used. You are being used even now. Stay close. Stay in love. And stay awake. The world is watching. Heaven is moving. And you, my child, are exactly where you're meant to be.
If something inside you stirred, that wasn't emotion, it was spirit. The same voice that spoke to your heart in this video is the one who's been whispering your name since the beginning. Don't rush away from this. Stay here. Dwell in his presence. And when you go, don't go alone. Go knowing you are called, covered, and chosen. Share this with someone who needs to hear heaven today. And remember, you're not watching revival. You are revival. Stay close, stay awake, and walk in the fullness of his love.